Good evening and welcome to the Buck Stops Here weekend edition. I'm Ankita Mukherjee. The big story tonight. 8 people have been detained in connection with the gang rape of an elderly nun in Ranaghat in West Bengal. And while the Chief Minister has assured strong and swift action, not a single arrest has been made so far. Instead, a statement from her government has caused shockwaves. It said religious politics was being practiced in the name of ghar-wapasi. And even as the BJP calls this an attempt to deflect from Bengal's deteriorating law and order, we ask tonight, has politics hit a new low, with even a gang rape acquiring political colour?
Have any of these men been detained? These are 4 of at least 6 men who broke into the convent cum school at Ranaghat and gang raped the 72-year-old nun. 8 men have been detained, but are any of them the actual offenders? No clarity from the police yet. Mamata Banerjee instantly ordered a CID investigation, but she also added a political twist, saying in a statement on the incident, religious politics was being practiced in the name of ghar-wapasi.
I can already share with you that 7 or 8 people have been detained. All of us in India should be ashamed of this incident.
दो समूह के बीच एक संघर्ष का वातावरण बनाया जाता है, वो कतई उचित नहीं, अनुचित है। महिलाओं के अत्याचार ये किसी भी प्रकार से समर्थन के योग्य नहीं है, विरोध करने के निंदनीय है। इसलिए वो नर्स हो या कोई गांव की महिला हो।
No escape from politics. BJP's Locket Chatterjee was denied entry into the school at Ranaghat.
যিনি ভর্তি আছেন তিনি খুবই খারাপ আছেন এবং যিনি এখানে আছেন বললেন তার উপর দিয়েও নির্যাতিতা হয়েছেন, তিনি তার উপর দিয়ে অত্যাচার হয়েছে। যারা দেশ মানুষের সেবার জন্য নিজেকে পুরোপুরি সমর্পণ করেছেন তাদেরকে আজকে এরকম পর্যায়ে এরকম হেনস্থা হতে হলো, এরপরে আর কিছু বলার নেই।
One of these school students has a board exam tomorrow. Others say the school principal had received threat calls last week. She had complained to the police as well.
There is a religious overtone in this.
No, we don't like it. I would request you, nobody should go to the victim.
We will blame police because threat calls were coming to sister and sister immediately gone to police, but police just denied it, totally denied it. Why they denied? They should took steps. They didn't took any steps. Why they didn't took any steps?
How to give our board exams? How will we rest? How will our girls, our school teachers? These are our mothers who have been raped.
The Christian community are restrained on the ghar-wapasi issue. But much as they appreciate the Mamata government's prompt response, they want results, arrest of the culprits and justice. With Prema Rajaram at Ranaghat in Kolkata, Monideepa Banerjee, NDTV.
Well, joining us tonight on that big story, Saugata Roy, senior leader of the Trinamool Congress, GVL Narasimha Rao, spokesperson for the BJP, joining us also, as is Shormishta Mukherjee, leader of the Congress and President Pranab Mukherjee's daughter. But before we go across to our panel tonight, I spoke earlier to the Archbishop of Kolkata, Thomas D'Souza, and I began by asking him that there were some reports that the principal of Jesus and Mary Convent had spoken to the police a week ago that she had received threat calls. Is this in fact correct, and what was the response of the police?
From what I know, I heard that she did receive a threat saying that she would be killed if she came out of the compound or something like that. And to that effect, she had made a complaint to the police. Her complaint yesterday was, had that been followed up closely, perhaps this wouldn't have been taken, wouldn't have happened, and had protection been given to her, perhaps this could have been prevented.
So what was the problem, sir? Why was the complaint not followed up by the police?
After receiving a complaint, whether it is an FIR or other type of complaint, there should have been police action to follow it up and protection given, etc., so that certain leads could have been already got by then of any threats that would have led to an act like this.
A government minister actually used the term ghar-wapasi in connection with this incident. though since then the government has clarified that it meant it in a broader sense of a rise in communal politics. But do you think, Archbishop D'Souza, that it's fair to link ghar-wapasi with the Ranaghat context?
In this connection, I wouldn't be quick to jump to that conclusion, because I feel there has to be sufficient evidence established to come to a conclusion like this, especially to find out the motive of those culprits, why they did what they did. Was it only a robbery? Did they go to the chapel just because they knew there was something of gold or silver plated ciborium? Was it only that? Or in that context, why all the other things that happened? So it's a lot of questions. So this mystery has to be cracked. Motivation, the motive has to be established. And as far as ghar-wapasi is concerned, I would say I would not jump to that conclusion at this moment.
Okay. Fair enough, sir. But in conclusion, what would your message be to both the Chief Minister of Bengal as well as the Prime Minister?
To the Chief Minister of West Bengal, I'm grateful to her for her initiative that she took in this very important case to assure us in the community of prompt action, which is in the process, I feel. And at the same time, I would not like to ascribe any particular motive to an incident that takes place, but we have to wait and see objectively the truth, because truth needs to be upheld at all costs at every place. And to Sri Narendra Modi, I would say he should speak up when incidents like this take place, to clearly express his mind. Otherwise, silence sometimes can lead to a lot of confusion, and silence can also lead to other theories which are bound to be floating around. And therefore, a very clear statement has to be made when something happens, whatever, especially in the case of this incident, especially relating to communal problem or communal violence or even communal incidents, whatever, certain statements have to be made.
Well, the Archbishop of Kolkata there giving a very restrained, very mature response to that specific question that I asked him about whether he would want to link this to ghar-wapasi or to religious conversions or communal politics in general. Let me take that right across to the Trinamool, Shougata Roy, who's joining us on our discussion tonight. Shougata Roy, that was the Archbishop saying that he feels that there's not enough evidence at this point to suggest that this could have been a ghar-wapasi gang rape, as it's being talked about really in that statement that was issued by the West Bengal government today. So, even earlier, a minister in Mamata Banerjee's government talking about religious conversions, talking about ghar-wapasi. Why link it in this manner? Why do this kind of politics over a gang rape of an elderly woman?
See, the main statement of the Chief Minister was quite clear, that she had ordered the police to take the strongest action. She had assigned the investigation to the Criminal Investigation Department of the West Bengal Police. She said that the culprits will be arrested and the harshest possible punishment will be meted out to them. This is a ghastly incident. We have no words to condemn. What the Chief Minister mentioned and the West Bengal government mentioned is the general atmosphere in the country. You know, there have been attacks on churches in India, particularly in Delhi. You know, there is some talk of ghar-wapasi. Nobody, as the Archbishop, in a very restrained statement, said that it may be too early to come to any conclusion. But he is not a political person, he is a religious person. Our feeling is that anti-socials have been encouraged by this talk of ghar-wapasi and attacks on Christians and churches. And they took advantage.
Do you believe that there is sufficient evidence here that seems to suggest that this could have been a religious crime, a hate crime that was perhaps provoked by such elements? Is that what you're saying? Is that what the government of West Bengal is saying?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The evidence is that some people had come to ask for money donations. Now, these are normally done by anti-socials of the locality. Why the nuns had complained about this. Now, it may be, it is our surmise, that these extortionists were encouraged by the general atmosphere or outcry against the Christians.
All right. I'm going to take that across, sir, to the BJP spokesperson joining us. Now, GVL Narasimha Rao, the Trinamool is saying it doesn't mean that this gang rape specifically, they're talking about a serious, a general political atmosphere. How do you respond to this? That there is provocation happening at the ground level, that these could be specific antisocial elements that were encouraged by a larger political atmosphere that's being created by members of the Sangh Parivar, perhaps not being discouraged by your party?
The act itself is extremely shameful and utterly condemnable. And I'm shocked that a responsible media organization like yours also is indulging in this sort of a political debate on an issue, which is a human tragedy.
Question we are raising,
no, please hear me out. Please hear me out.
No, sir, since you brought in our organization, I want to say, is politics hitting a new low, sir?
No, I think
that is the question that's being posed here tonight, sir. We are asking whether you as political parties are now bringing this entire discourse to a new low. Sir, go ahead, sir.
Rather than condemning the West Bengal minister for making such dastardly, utterly foolish, senseless, graceless comments, and you are actually wanting to have a debate on this. I find this highly objectionable, and I register my protest. Number one, it's a dastardly act, a massive crime perpetrated by, you cannot even call such people human beings. Whoever is responsible for such crime, they have to be identified. It's shocking that despite CCTV footage, the police of West Bengal is unable to arrest them. And every time Mamata Banerjee wants to cover up her own inefficiency, her complete lack of control over law and order in the state of West Bengal, that she every time blames either a victim or some conspiracy to cover up her own misdeeds. I think it's highly condemnable that a woman chief minister and her government is indulging in this sort of propaganda without addressing the real issue.
Fair enough, Mr. Rao.
Have to be...
Okay, fair enough. Mr. Rao, you're going to get a chance to respond to that, but I want to bring in Sharmishta Mukherjee at this point. As both a woman and as a concerned citizen of this country, we're asking tonight, by linking a gang rape to politics, by saying this is a ghar-wapasi gang rape, has this really now hit a new low in politics? Is this not at some level sickening that even a gang rape of an elderly nun can be talked about in terms of a political battle?
You know, this is absolutely an heinous act, but there are two angles to it. You know, one is, of course, this alleged rape of a 71-year-old nun and assault on the two other nuns. This is completely monstrous. So this is one angle. Another aspect is, if you look it into a broader trend of what is happening, this ghar-wapasi, this bahu lao beti bachao, what is happening in Bengal. So if, and also the vandalizing acts on the religious minorities, on the minority places of worships. You know, so this is an issue which we cannot ignore. So we have to look it into the, you know, the Trinamool government, in spite of being headed by a woman, unfortunately they have not been so sensitive about the safety and security of women in general. And also this is now another angle to it, is a growing trend of religious intolerance. And this is, we have seen it in Delhi, now we are seeing it in Bengal, so that also cannot be really overlooked. You know, so we really have to see it from both the perspectives.